48, Rachel Lade, and surprise addition.
I had 2 horses before Barty. The first was a pony called Harvey, who was a bit tricky but taught me a lot. After that was Sammy, who was the first horse that we actually owned ourselves. She probably wasn't necessarily the right horse to buy, but she was grey and she was a mare and she was very pretty. I had her for a few years and fell off her a lot. While she was a really good jumper, she had quite a sudden stop, which took quite some getting used to. When we were looking for Barty, we looked at so many different horses of all sorts. When we went to see Barty, it wasn't exactly love at first sight. I thought he was a bit big and I thought he was a bit boring looking, but he was really well behaved and my coach really liked him. When we first got him home, he was not quite everything that we thought we'd bought. The first time I cantered him in a field, I fell off. So me and my dad went back out the next day to try again, and I fell off. He had quite a serious buck, and it took a while for us to realise that it wasn't because he was being naughty. It was he'd just really start worrying about a situation, and he'd feel me go a bit wobbly, and that would make him panic 100 times more, and his solution was to buck me off. So it took quite a while to learn how to deal with that. I think within about a month or 2 we took him out to his first dressage competition and he was really well behaved. I don't think we won, but we were well enough placed to qualify for the next part of the Winter League for the Pony Club. My proudest win? I probably have 2. The first would be at the end of last year when we won the Advanced Medium Area Festival, because I never expected that we were going to, and I thought everyone else there was a lot better than me, but he was really good and we won. And then the whole time I've been in Pony Club, it's been sort of my goal to win the Pony Club Championships, and whilst we didn't actually manage it, we came second 3 times in 1 year, so I'm still pretty proud of that. He had quite a lot of character, but I think that's why he was good. And once I was able to ride him, he was more horse than we ever expected, and he did far better than we ever expected. I was in uni one day and I got a text just saying they didn't think he was very well. They checked his temperature and it was a bit up, and he was a bit off his feed, which is, something's wrong with Charles if he's not eating. But he was never, whilst he had quite a high temperature and he looked sort of sorry in himself, he was never as ill as he should have been. Towards the end of the second week we took him into the vets. And it was only really once he got in there that they had any idea how ill he was. That day we got a call saying that he had peritonitis, which is basically where this infected fluid affects the body in a bad way. It was only after he died that they did a post-mortem and found out that it was from an abscess that had formed on his colon. Whilst peritonitis itself seems to have quite a few horses recovering from it, the vets just said he had absolutely everything go wrong that could, and it was literally just random chance. Because he didn't show how ill he was, I felt really bad because I didn't see it coming at all. We used to always say that he was a bit of a fairy, if he knocked his leg or if he had a bit of swelling come up and you sort of looked at him, you're like, oh, what's wrong? He'd go, oh no, I'm dying. And then he was actually dying. He was really brave. He probably had the nicest personality of any horse I've ever had anything to do with. Sort of, in everything, he was a real gentleman, other than to ride. But to handle on the ground, you know, he wouldn't walk out of his stable if you left the door open for hours. He sort of, his farrier and the vets and everything, everyone loved him because he was so good to handle. And if you had little kids come to the yard, you could always get them to give him a sweet because you know that he would never get his teeth anywhere near them. You know, he respected me, and I was his favourite person, and that was pretty cool because I already had that. I'm really glad that I had him and that he's taught me so much. And if I hadn't had him, I wouldn't have got interested in dressage. So, you know, whatever the rest of my riding career is, it would have been different if I hadn't had him.